Hey guys, let's get more news about Warriors, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Steve Kerr honors late Al Attles. Steve Kerr is class personified. As the head coach of the Golden State Warriors, the 9-time NBA champion is also a reputable ambassador for the league. As such, Kerr honored the late Al Attles, also known as the Jersey Jet. In Kerr's opinion, the deceased NBA legend will always be Mr. Warrior. Kerr shared a heartfelt message thanking the deceased NBA legend for his contributions to the game and the Warriors franchise. Attles played in the NBA for 11 seasons, all with the Warriors for their Philadelphia and San Francisco stints. Although Attles wasn't a star, he made a name for himself as a loyal Warriors player and a figure in the franchise until his last day on earth. Kerr shared kind words for the late Attles and expressed his condolences to Mr. Warriors and his family. Golden State's head coach, Kerr, called Attles the figurehead of the Warriors. He remained an employee of the franchise for over 60 years. During his time with the Warriors, Attles played, coached, and served as general manager, as well as in roles such as team ambassador and community relations representative. He lived to help the Warriors on and off the court. Although Attles wasn't a star, he ranked 8th in triple-doubles for the 1968-69 seasons. More impressively, the Warriors retired his number in 1977. Paul Pierce thinks there is only one move the Warriors can make to become title contenders. Paul Pierce doesn't consider the Golden State Warriors a serious title contender anymore and thinks that can only change if they make one big move. On the Ticket and the Truth podcast, Pierce and Kevin Garnett were discussing Stephen Curry's future when the former stated the Warriors have to trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo to get back near the top. They don't have a championship team, Pierce said. The only way I see Golden State getting back to where they need to get back to is if they could find a way to get Giannis over there. Garnett wondered if Pierce had some sort of inside information about a move being in the works, but he made it clear he did not. Putting Antetokounmpo alongside Curry would certainly make the Warriors a serious title contender. Giannis averaged 30.4 points, 11.5 rebounds, 6.5 assists, 1.2 steals, and 1.1 blocks per game for the Milwaukee Bucks last season. He made the All-NBA first team and finished 4th in voting for MVP. He and Curry, who averaged 26.4 points, 4.5 rebounds, 5.1 assists, 0.7 steals, and 0.4 blocks per game last season, would easily be the best duo in the NBA. The problem, though, is that I don't think the Warriors will be able to put together a good enough package to land Antetokounmpo if he ever asks for a trade. The 8-time All-Star is under contract through the 2027-28 season, for which he has a player option, so he won't be available for pennies on the dollar. The only valuable trade assets the Warriors have apart from Curry are Jonathan Kuminga and Brandon Podziemski. I don't think any package that revolves around those two youngsters and draft picks would be enough to land Antetokounmpo or any other top star in the league. It's why I think the Warriors are somewhat stuck in NBA purgatory now. They are never going to be bad enough to get a top draft pick with Curry on the roster, but at the same time, aren't good enough to compete for titles. Last season was a great example of that, as the Warriors finished with a 46-36 record and missed the playoffs after being beaten by the Sacramento Kings in the play-in tournament. They need to get in another star to push them back near the top but don't have the means to get one. It would appear that those on the outside aren't the only ones who think that Golden State doesn't have what it takes to contend. According to NBA insider Anthony Slater, the Warriors' front office is aware they don't have a championship-level roster. The key Warriors stakeholders grasp Curry's sustained greatness and, team sources said, there is an internal understanding that his current supporting cast can't be considered a finished product if the 2025 NBA championship is believed to be a reachable goal. The Warriors have brought in the likes of Buddy Hield, DeAnthony Melton, and Kyle Anderson this offseason, and while they are good additions, none of the three really move the needle. You wonder how much longer Curry sticks around if the team is nowhere near title contention. Pierce thinks he will stay regardless, but I think there is a chance he will leave. Celtics legend urges Warriors to trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo. The Warriors will be relying on Steph Curry more than ever this season, and Paul Pierce says the team needs to go after Giannis Antetokounmpo to get him some help. Without Klay Thompson, Steph will be the Warriors' only clear-cut offensive scoring option in 2024-25. The team tried to make a big splash multiple times over the summer by going after Paul George and Lauri Markkanen, and Pierce says if the team wants to return to greatness anytime soon, signing Giannis is the only option. The only way I see Golden State getting back to where they need to get back to is if they can find a way to get Giannis over there, Pierce said the Ticket and Turf podcast recently. Naturally, Pierce was asked if he had any insider knowledge that Golden State were planning to move in on the Greek Freak, but he said, "Nah, I'm just putting on my GM hat and trying to say that's the best-case scenario." This isn't the first time Giannis to the Warriors has been mentioned. In February of this year, The Athletic reported that the Warriors consider signing Giannis to be their dream scenario. So the franchise have clearly entertained, or at least thought about the idea. Giannis is in the final year of his current $228 million contract and has a 3-year $175.3 million max contract extension waiting to activate next year. The Bucks also got Giannis some help in Damian Lillard, so the chances of him leaving Milwaukee in the foreseeable future look slim. But it is the NBA, so anything can happen. The Lakers are under the microscope for their lack of trade action during the offseason, and one NBA insider has revealed the biggest mistake that was made. That was the team committing to a 4-year $32 million free agent deal with Max Christie, which includes a 4-year player option. The Athletic's John Hollinger explains why the deal was an issue. The problem was that A, they actually tried him quite a bit, 944 minutes across 67 games, and B, he wasn't any good, 8.4 PER, minus 3.6 BPM, such that C, he couldn't crack the full-strength rotation of what was arguably the worst bench in the league, Hollinger says. The move also had a massive flow-on effect for the team, Hollinger explains. What made this move particularly notable was that it took the Lakers out of other scenarios in free agency, Hollinger writes. Any team with LeBron James and Anthony Davis needs to be all in on right now, and the Lakers seemingly passed up a few other opportunities to go in that direction. Christie was another opportunity cost, because the $7.1 million cap number for Christie essentially took the Lakers out of using their taxpayer mid-level exception while still staying below the second apron. Besides the Cavs and Celtics, the Lakers franchise was the only team that didn't make any off-season trade moves. Looking to the future, the Ringer's Kevin O'Connor dropped a bombshell over the weekend, claiming that the LA's long-term plan involves bagging Dallas superstar Luka Doncic, which might explain the team's lack of trades over the summer. I've reported on this podcast and on the Ringer how the Lakers have their sights set for Luka. We'll see if that works out, he said on the mismatch. Dallas just made a finals. Dallas is looking better than ever with their supporting cast. That may not work out, but the Lakers, by not trading their future picks, clearly are still thinking long-term at this point. They're not going all in like you might expect many teams to do with James. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Giannis Antetokounmpo? Leave your opinion in the comments.